to the Modern Day Slave podcast. See, the new slavery in these days is mind control.
Okay, peace and blessings, man. This is going to be a great one. I'm excited for this one. I'm your host, Nakia, man, and I've got my brother Jeff with me today, man, my brother Jeff Johnson. And our subject that we've taken up and decided to take up for this one is the community. What are you doing about it? And see, I met this brother when we were doing some building, man, on a session called Rebuilding the Village. Now, we are overdue for another session of Rebuilding the Village, but my brother jumped in, man, and he had some very unique perspectives on everything that was transpiring, on everything that was going on. So I thought it was always great to build with brothers that have a like mindset, who are actually doing the works and not just you know, saying that they're doing it or talking about it or just putting it on camera, but actually out doing the work. Now, for most of you that know that a little over a year now, we've been going to support our brothers and sisters that are living on the streets. So ironically, I was able to meet this brother through another great brother who joined us on a couple of those missions that we went downtown to be able to help those the people that are living down there. And so it's amazing how the Creator works all things together for His greater good, and He brings people together when you may even least be expecting it. And this brother is another brother that's in the community. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the brother in really quick and add him to the stream, so that way we can go get introduced to the brother. There we go. We got brother Jeff is here in the building. Brother Jeff, man, peace and blessings, man. How you doing, brother?
Peace and blessings, family.
Yeah, man. So this is the great brother, man, and I love that he's representing as well, man. So I'm gonna give the brother. I wanted to allow him the opportunity to introduce himself to those that may not be familiar with the work that the brother's doing here on the streets of Phoenix, and just who he is, man. So, brother Jeff, please give the people your warmest welcome, man, and let them know first off who you are, man, and what you're about, what you do, man.
Ooh, boy, that's a tough one. All right. Well, my name's Brother Jeff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not originally from Phoenix. I'm originally from Rockville, Illinois. I moved out here 10 years ago now. You know what I'm saying? As far as I'm concerned, I consider Phoenix home. This is where I was supposed to be. Ironically, ever since I was a kid, I always had a draw to come here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Cool for me to come here, like it was meant for me to be here. You know, so it's like kind of funny with saying that. I just so happily have been able to meet up with a beautiful group called the Phoenix Local Organizing Committee.
Yeah.
You know, before I jump more into them again, I'm by myself real fast. I professionally work as a security officer. But I'm also a NRA certified firearms instructor, as well as one of the chairmen for the LLC, chairman for the Ministry of Defense. But so now, we're going to roll into the LLC.
No. Before we get there, brother, I got a couple of questions I want to ask you, man. So you mentioned the fact that you just seem compelled to come to Phoenix, man, for Phoenix to be the place where you would make your abode. What was it about Phoenix, man?
You know what? And I mean, I'm not really joking. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I just I feel like it's the Father that taught me to come here.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? But outside of that, the way I always put it, I got tired of freezing. You know what I'm saying? Growing up in negative 20 temperatures will make you seek out the hottest place you can be. Growing up in negative 20, make 120 not that bad.
Indeed. Yeah, for sure, man. So talk to us a little bit about your childhood, man. Talk to us a little bit about that growing up in the cold weather, man, before we get into some of the, the other aspects of what you mentioned.
You know what? That's actually interesting. I had an interesting childhood for the most part. I got to grow up in basically a two-parent household, but my father was my stepfather, and it
Yeah.
wasn't the greatest situation. For the most part, to be just going ahead and frank about my childhood, pretty much was an abuseful childhood. You know what I'm saying,
Wow.
mentally and physically.
Okay.
My mom got married to my stepdad when I was 3, and like honestly, I didn't realize it, but one of my very first memories. Well, I didn't realize at the time period,
Yeah.
but my one of my first memories was this brother basically jumping on my mom and me
Wow.
trying to fight him to get him off of him, and I was yay big.
Wow. Wow.
And you know the funny part about it though is this is how good God is. Though.
Come on, man. Talk to me.
All the things I had went through, you know what I'm saying, despite the violence, you know what I'm saying, abuse, you know what I'm saying, seeing the things I went through, or seeing the things I seen, and all
Yeah.
that, as far as in the household goes, I've always sit there and said that man taught me a lot regardless.
Yeah. For sure.
Even if I disagreed the fact of how he did everything, he taught me what not to do as a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How to walk more proper, how to treat our sisters, how to treat our women.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? These types of concepts. Yo, like I thank God, you know what I'm saying, through the grace of him, I was able to actually have a type of mindset that allowed me to be able to have that type of focus and be able to see it from that type of light.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that a lot of brothers and sisters who grew up in those situations don't necessarily have the opportunity to have that kind of mindset or be able to see it that way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us take it to the negative path. You know what I'm saying? Again, you know what I'm saying? All praises to Yah. You know what I'm saying? He was the one who allowed me to be able to see things from a different way. So not only was I able to see how I believe a man in a relationship with a woman should be and how we should operate as men. He's actually the reason why I've always kind of been in this sense of defense and security over my people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly, I also got to give a lot of credit to my grandmother because through her, I seen her work that she do. I'm not sitting there saying she was deep in the community doing like major community work like that, but just in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
The people around her, how they was able to call on her when they was in need, and she was always there as a servant to help them out any time that they was in a situation or they was in need. So that put a spirit in me to be that very kind of servant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I guess you could say that both of them just kind of the situation got combined together where it made me an individual where I'm a servant of my people and I'm a big defender of my people.
Well, and I think that's huge.
I just want to be a representation of what I believe, what a black man is supposed to be, and what we need to start stepping up to be.
Man, and I think that's huge that you talk about some of the lessons that you went through and some of the things that you experienced, but how you took that and turned that and used that for good, you know what I mean? And then you're talking about the spirit of your grandmother, man. Now, what you're talking about right now reminds me of what I remember from being community. When we actually had community, you know, where, you know, for me, I could ride up and down the streets, man, from sun up to sundown. And if I did something on a block over or 2 or 3 blocks over or even on the other side of town, guess what? Before I got to the house, before they had cell phones, they already knew about it. Exactly. And if I didn't get my whooping in the streets, I got the whooping waiting on me when I got to the house.
Without cell phones.
Precisely. We don't even know what that means to disconnect and actually get to know people. And so I think what you're mentioning, man, you're reminding me of some of my childhood as well, of things that really were designed, I felt like may have been designed against me, but guess what? They worked out for the greater good. You know, I had what was community, even though I didn't have, you know, necessarily the money wise, right? I grew up without running water till about the age of 5, but I always had love. I was always rich and filthy rich and wealthy in the concept of love. I had people around me that cared about me, that showed me. Even in the community, I had people in the community that cared about me. So I think it's interesting that you share what you share because, you know, a lot of us, man, we come from, you know, situations that may have been, let's just say the situations were adverse to how we felt like we should have been raised, but yet they had this intended purpose, if that makes sense. So just like you, I also, you know, I gained most of what I consider to be my hard work ethic that I have today. You know, my community involvement as well. I gained that from my stepdad too. So that's, you know, it's ironic. We share that, man. We share it in that. But my stepdad was a crackhead. So, you know, I had to deal with that, being in and out of prison and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I learned some of the most valuable lessons from him and observing what not to do. You know what I mean? In situations. So that's good, man. Thank you for sharing, you know, just your personal aspect of what you do personally. Now, you mentioned the Phoenix LOC. Come on, tell us a little bit about what the Phoenix LOC is and more importantly, what you do for the Phoenix LOC.
Yo, that's my family away from family. So literally the LOC, we pretty much represent the people across the diaspora, where we want to establish the fundamentals of self-sufficiency.
Yeah.
Through our 9 ministries, we pretty much believe that the 9 ministries represent the 9 fundamental sectors of government.
The number 9. Ooh, that's a powerful number.
Come on now. So that's we pretty much operate in the sense of trying to get to a position where we can operate away from said government needs. We could provide for ourselves in each and every aspect that we can. You know,
so speaking of that, I remember. So first off, I'm gonna back up just really quick because you mentioned something that's very, very important, right? So talking about those aspects. Now, ironically, I met you through another brother who I've had the opportunity of doing some work here on the streets of Phoenix with, Brother Tremikas, man. So talk to us a little bit about Brother Tremikas, man, and the work that he's doing as well.
That man is the hardest man working I know. No, Brother Tremikas is a great brother, yo. He is our chairman. He is the head chairman of the LOC. And pretty much he oversees everything. And I mean, when I said literally the hardest man working, his whole main mission in life and focus is about his people, about trying to put us in a better situation. He said that basically he has made it his own personal mission to carry the weight of we gonna get there. Like the best way to put it. He said, we gonna get there. I don't care if I carry it on my own shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So when I basically met a man that's that powerful, that wise, I mean, literally, this man is truly wise. I'm sorry, I gotta throw this in real quick. I gotta plug him.
Man, come on! I was just about. I was just about to do it. You beat me to the punch.
His first book. You know what I'm saying? Everybody run out there, get it. Everybody right here in Phoenix, go right down to the Grassroots Bookstore. They're right there on the corner of Washington and 12th Street. Go check it out, man. Powerful book, right? Wise words right here. You know,
yeah, man. I hadn't had a chance to get down and get my copy just yet, but I have been seeing all the excerpts and everything, man. And the brother is dropping straight gems, knowledge in the book. So, man, shout out to Brother Tremikas, man, for the work that he's doing, man. The work that he's doing. Like you said, brother, nobody's really working as hard as that brother, man. From the moment I met that brother, he was locked side by side with me. We were going downtown to be able to help the people on the streets of Phoenix, man, that are living on downtown.
He is all about his people. You know what I'm saying? People, and when I'm saying the people, I mean like literally, he really has genuine love for all people.
That's it.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, gotta start internally first, man.
That part.
Yeah, that's huge, man. So So again, we met at a session that we were having, actually, ironically, at Grassroots, and it was called Rebuilding the Village. And we had some great dialogue around things that we need to start standing on as men first, right? As men, you know, as
Yes.
brothers. There's certain things that we need to stand on to help us do exactly what you talked about. Some of the missions, some of your work is to do. You talked about the 9 principles, man. Lay out the 9 principles for us, man.
Actually, that was not me speaking about the 9 principles. That was actually my other brother,
Okay.
brother True. I believe he was the one spoke on the 9 principles.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? I actually haven't actually had a chance to read myself yet.
Okay. Okay, good. So
But
talk to us about what the Phoenix LOC, your role, and what you do with the Phoenix LOC.
now, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we have the 9 minutes. And in
Yeah.
particular, you know what I'm saying, I'm actually one of the chairmen, in particular of the Ministry of Defense.
Okay, good, good.
You know what I'm saying? I'm actually, our role is to basically be the defense and security for our people. And when I'm saying defense and security, we literally come in line up. We want to secure our people in all manners, mentally, physically, and emotionally. These are all aspects of security and defense. If our people aren't mentally, physically, emotionally correct, they in turmoil. That's our job to step in. So with the Ministry of Defense, our
That's
mission is
huge.
to um, come into the community. Right now, we have a food and clothes drive giveaway that we do on the third Saturday,
Okay.
right here at the apartment complex over on 27th Avenue in Indian School. You know what I'm saying? Where we try to serve the community just in that sense of just providing those needs. And even when we're doing that, we try to interact with the people. We're interacting with the children, you know, just speaking to them, actually listening to them, hearing their concerns, hearing their needs. And with every time we're interacting with the community, we're coming up with plans on, okay, how can we fulfill those needs? You know what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things. We're not one of the organizations where we keep talking about it. We actually listen. And okay, it might take us a second to get to it, but don't get it twisted. So we are actually putting them in the work and methods of the strategy of how we're going to get those needs filled. You know what I'm saying? But another thing with that too, with the Ministry of Defense, in particularly, we also focus again now mental health with first aid. You know what I'm saying? CPR, first aid certified. We're also security certified. So in which we actually operate, and when we're out patrolling and things, we're actually acting in a sense of security. We've been trained. We know what we're doing. You know, we participate. We partake in the laws of Phoenix and everything. You know, of Arizona. We
So
just want to make sure everything comes correct when we do everything that we do, and then also one of the biggest things that we're really wanting to start implementing is conflict resolution.
okay, come on,
We're
talk
out
to me
on
about
this
this,
patrol.
man.
Because, like, again, that's why I'm really trying to paint a picture for the people. It's like, yeah, we're not out here toting guns, you know what I'm saying? We're looking for war, nothing like that. No,
Yeah.
we're really out here trying to be out here to help the brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? Even though we may be defense, this is our main mission, is to come and help and be peaceful and,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, be really there to support our family.
Well,
So
you mentioned
with conflict resolution, we're really trying to get involved where instead of all these shootings or any type of beefs was a
come on.
thing,
Come on,
like,
man.
yo, we can call, hopefully we can get to a point within the community where they trust
Yeah.
us enough, where something going on, a brother can be like, hey, this is happening, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
I need help. I don't want to take it there, but he's taking me there.
Right,
Okay,
right,
cool. Let
right.
me, as you know what I'm saying, mediator, go over here and speak with this brother. And hopefully within the between, we can come to a true resolution. So in which now we can have more peace on the street.
For
Because one of
sure.
the major
For
problems
sure.
in our family is the fact that we don't listen to each other. We say our egos getting away too much to where we let that take us to a
Can't have the
whole nother level
conversation.
that's completely unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Two hard heads ain't gonna work together. So we really need to start learning to have patience for each other. In fact, I'm sorry, but I gotta put it this way. I gotta be 100.
Throw it
I
out
need
there.
our family to start being as patient with each other
Come
as
on,
we
man.
are with
Come
our
on.
employers.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
on.
Or when
Say
them
it.
blueberries and cherries show up, I need to have y'all to have that much humility with your
Say it.
brothers and your sisters.
Say it.
Because of the fact, it's not the fact we don't know how, it's how we're choosing.
Yeah, it's a choice. Oh, did I lose the brother? Did the brothers freeze up on me? Let me see. Let me see if I can get the brother back real quick. I think he froze up on me. There we go, brother. I got you back. You froze up for a second.
Okay, did y'all hear me? Or y'all need to start?
Yeah, so I heard what you were talking about. You were talking about the fact that we, as brothers and sisters, we give more to our employer. We don't have that same attitude when we get home or with our brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? We don't have that same type of attitude. So that's where we missed you after that point.
Yeah, and that's honestly, you know what I'm saying, to really make a long story short, that's pretty much all I'm saying. We need to, that's just one of the first things. Because in all honesty, this is just one of the first parts of the code that we need to start establishing with each other.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? One thing I've come to notice is that pretty much all other communities, they all have one thing that apparently we don't act like we have.
Come on.
Or even more than like we once upon a time. We had a, you know what I'm saying? Each of them operate a certain way to where in which they're not going to. If we see them out in public, we won't know, or we won't see them
that they're having
operate
any issues
in some type of way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just on the surface level, but it goes deeper. And that's what I mean. Like, we need to get back to that type of code with our people. So when we are out, when we are dealing with each other, when we interact with each other, we move and operate a certain way. You know what I'm saying? That even goes into the whole thing of our sisters sitting there saying how they don't feel protected and things like that. I don't believe that's necessarily as true as what we keep thinking it is.
Yep.
But I do believe we could do better.
Agreed. Totally agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and
yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned a huge part of that conflict resolution, which is the whole mental aspect. So you talked about when you started off talking about the Ministry of Defense, the fact that you're not just there to, like you mentioned, bear arms. That's a part of it, right? That's an aspect of it. But the key is you are there to also solve for the whole of the community, not just on that surface level. So that mental aspect, you mentioned that. Man, you know what's ironic about you having a conversation that you talked about conflict resolution. So the OBFC just started our mentoring program. It's called Join the Race. Now, RACE is an acronym. And so in our first session, what we did was really just icebreakers to get to know the young men that we have. We have men from 13 all the way up to 18 in the group. Now, in our second session, that's what we focused on, was conflict resolution. We sent them home with homework to go research what is conflict. Do you know that close to the end of that, one of the things that the young men, all of them were pretty much saying was that, hey, if you don't know how to solve a conflict within first, okay, talking about our people, right? Talking about our people, right? How in the world can you even begin to understand? This was a quote that came directly from one of the young men. He said, how in the world can you understand conflict with somebody else?
Powerful. That was from a young brother.
From a young man. Came from a young man, yes.
Man, that man is a scholar right there.
Man, look, it gave me chills, because if they can understand it on a basic level, where are we missing it at as a community?
Come on. You know, and that almost goes back to the photo. Saying the children will lead the way.
It does. That's exactly what it says. It says that the children will lead the way. And that's what so I think a huge part of what you're talking about, when we talk about community, a part of it's got to be the youth. We've got to make sure that the youth that we're giving back. We're pouring back into the youth. I saw KRS-One talk about it recently. He said, man, when the youth listen to the old, they become highly more advanced than their peers because now they're grabbing knowledge from the old as well. And when the old listen to the youth, they begin to advance beyond their peers because now they're getting the new from the youth, and they're also gathering and putting together the old. And so I think that's a gap, a bridge that we really have to make as a community. And that's one of the reasons why we started the mentorship program. So I think that's man, it ties directly to what you're talking about. We've got to get to a point where we get ready to solve conflicts. So talk to me a little bit about some of the things that you're doing that help us to be able to get to that point where we can recognize and start to solve those conflicts, Brother Jeff.
At the moment, can't say that we are directly in the community quite yet, because in all reality, we're still taking all these steps to get more than trained.
For sure. For sure.
You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure, you know what I'm saying, that we are properly prepared before we completely jump into the ring. So,
that's good. That's good.
You know. But
yeah,
no, trust me, you know what I'm saying? This is definitely these are the next steps of what the work that we're putting in place.
That's
you know
good.
Right now, honestly, just the whole thing of interacting with the community and getting our faces shown, that's kind of more one of our first focuses. So that way, once we do get ready for that conflict resolution part, that part, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to just come out here like, oh, we're looking for the first conflict and trying to solve it.
Yeah.
No, we want to, you know what I'm saying, make sure we come correct. Like, hey, Brother Jeff, yo, let me holler at you. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I want to be able to be pulled to the side and people recognize me, recognize the rest of the family. Any place that you see us at any time, like, hey, that's family right there. You know what I'm saying? We can holler at them about anything. If I need something, I can holler at that brother. If he got it, he'll give me the shirt off his back.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? That's the type of position we're trying to uphold within this community.
Good, and I know that you all have the community garden as well, which is a part of something that is a staple, so to speak, in what you're doing as well. And I think that lends ear to some of that face recognition that you're talking about, right? Getting the recognition out in the community by having something that's a community space, even grassroots. If you think about grassroots itself, the bookstore, that's a centralized location for people really to come. It's a meeting place, if that makes sense.
Central hub.
So those are all aspects of exactly what you're talking about. These are all aspects of being able to set up what exactly is the next step. You talked about the training, right? That's an important piece, right? We don't want to just throw and do anything out there in the community, but we want to make sure that we're prepared to go out. It's similar to what we do with the people every Wednesday. So every Wednesday evening at 5:30, we meet up and we go downtown and we help the people. But before we got to this point where we were doing this every single week, it took us time to get trained, to get prepared, to be ready to be able to serve the people in the manner in which they need to be served in.
Yes, sir.
And so I think that's what you're speaking to right there.
Yes, sir. And not only the fact that when we are doing these trainings, the thing is, this actually open the community as well. You know what I'm saying? Various parts of our training that we hold. Hey, if you know anybody who wants to come participate, you're more than welcome to. The more the merrier. You know what I'm saying? It's not just solely for just us or anything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? We normally, for the most part, try to post anything we're doing online with any Instagram, Facebook.
So speaking of that, where can we find you? What are the Instagrams that we can find you at?
The Instagram, if I remember correct, is the PHXLOC.
All right, perfect.
And then the Facebook is the same.
Okay, good. So you can find them on Instagram and on Facebook. So both are available.
You know, like I say, one of the major things about us, like you said with the garden. In fact, let me even just hit the 9. We have the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Science and Tech.
Okay.
Ministry of Spirituality. Ooh, this one starts getting hard. Start getting the last three. We don't want to forget. Did I say Ministry of Health?
Yeah, you mentioned Ministry of Health. Yep.
We don't want to forget. Oh, they're gonna be mad at me about this. But okay, just for time's sake, that's the, you know what I'm saying. At least that's the
List.
few that we
Well,
have
that
that
gives
really
it-
up
that-
and going, and these other things that give you an idea of what we're focused on.
Exactly. So that gives a good idea of exactly, you know, just the work and what you stand for as the Phoenix LOC. So you've also given us information with how people can get in contact with you as well. So please check the works. If I have any ask from those that are listening to this is check the works, examine the works. The works will speak for themselves of what the brothers are doing in the community, and you'll see the passion. You'll see the networking. You'll see the ability to really just build this thing. So you and I, we've had this conversation before, but what do you feel like is one of the quickest or biggest things that we can start to work on as a community?
Togetherness. Just being able to get together and be together. That's it. You know what I'm saying? We got to get to a point of being around each other without fear. Being able to be around each other without, hey, this person here, that person, I'm going to get this person, I'm going to have to worry about that person. No, we need to dead all of that. We have a way bigger enemy that's in front of us right now, and he lets his presence be known all the time. But we just want to look at it like it's not that important. We keep looking at each other so much, we missing the big picture. You know what I'm saying? So I guess one of my biggest things would be just for us to be together at the moment. I know that's a tall order, but it's not an impossible order.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's all about getting past each other's egos and things.
Come on, man.
Letting the petty things go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's more to this life than these little nonsensical beads.
Yeah.
You know, we are bigger and better than that. We are the original people of these lands.
Come on,
How
man.
can we sit there and keep on acting like we're lower class than that? We come from a vast history, from a vast legacy. How can we continue to sit there and represent like this?
Yeah.
When this is not who we truly are. Just because they keep trying to paint you in that picture don't mean you have to stand in that light. You know what I'm saying? That's two different.
Well, and I think it goes back
who
to
we really
that's it. We've got to come to the point of realization of who we really are. Because see, we've accepted these identities and we've accepted these labels that they give us, and by us accepting that, we're just accepting a bag of goods. But we're far greater than what they've said about us. And I think that requires us to have some self-recognition. So I think that's a huge role in what you're talking about, right? For us to be able to, like you mentioned, right, put the egos aside, because there are some of us that operate with the ego, and then we have some that don't even know any. They have no worth. They think they have no worth. But guess what? According to your creator, you're created beautifully, wonderfully made in his likeness and his image. And we've got to get past all these different things that are going on so that we can do exactly what you're talking about, is being able to come together, to unite. I think that, and like you said, it's a tall task. That is a tall task, brother. But guess who? Who better for the work?
Not impossible.
Come on. Who better for the work? Who better for the work?
Who's down for the work? Who's willing to put in the work?
That's the question. That's
Ain't
the
that the whole question of the title of tonight or today's show? Who's willing to put in the work? Who wants to stand up? Because that's honestly all I ever ask of our brothers and our sisters.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? There's many things that go on in this community that don't have to, but we're allowing once again. You know what I'm saying? Who's willing to put in this work? You know what I'm saying? There's situations that shouldn't be. I'm sorry. You mind if I jump into a
Man, please. Take it there.
Because it's been itching me right quick.
Come on, talk to me.
I know it's been a big thing that a lot of people have been talking to, but like the sister and the little brother in Chicago.
Yes, yes,
I'm terrible
yes,
with names. I
yes.
can't think of names. I'm talking about. But the brother and sister who was involved in that little altercation,
Carlisha
like
Hood.
there we go.
Yeah.
Um, and what was the brother's name? The one who passed. I know if you had that
Jeremy
right in front
Brown.
of you too.
Yeah, Jeremy Brown was the one that
See,
passed.
okay, Jeremy Brown and Carlisha.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, but within that whole scenario, none of that had to happen.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody that was in that building is at fault, as far as I'm concerned. Everybody's at fault. You mean tell me it took all the way to a little brother that had to come handle this situation, and the way he had to handle it did not have to happen.
Right.
So, like with that, I just wanted to say this. So, that's like one of my biggest example of the community involvement that we need to start getting to. So we have literally a whole building full of our brothers and sisters. And instead of actually one of the brothers or one of the sisters stepping in, getting either party, intervening on either side, they want to antagonize the situation, egg it on. I'm not understanding this logic
Sit
within
by
my
and
people.
watch. Yeah.
So you literally allowed this to happen. You wanted to go ahead and worry more about likes and everything on the social media things instead of actually worrying about being concerned about our people. You know, earlier I was sitting there saying about the whole thing of how sisters claim that they don't feel protected. The reason why I say I don't necessarily believe that because even though I'm not Muslim, I know a whole sect of women. I don't care where they go. There's something I noticed. And I mean, we be in the hood.
Yeah.
Why do they be able to walk around and I mean literally see what look like straight hood niggas, excuse my language, hood brothers, they literally step to the side. They sit there, be a lot more, they softer with they speak.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So my point being, with that being said, we again have the ability and we have the knowledge and understanding.
Everything is already in us. It's got to come out
Already
of us.
there. So how can we sit there and say that we don't know how to operate? No, it's about the fact of how each party is carrying itself. You know what I'm saying? Brothers know how to respect a woman when they see that's a woman that's willing to be exalted, one that's to be held up high, who deserves protection. You can see an aura around her that, yo, nah, that's not the one. She's protected.
Yeah.
Versus others. You know what I'm saying? There's reasons behind that. We're not gonna get in that deep of a conversation about about all that, but I'm just saying, I'm showing observation. There's something there. So the protection of our sisters is there. The brothers are willing to protect.
Come on.
Are willing to stand up and act a certain way towards our sisters.
Yes.
And the brothers are willing to lead. Well, they have an understanding of that they need to lead. But it's hard to lead somebody who don't want to follow. One who fights with you each and every turn. So again, not necessarily getting all that deep and everything to that whole subject. My overall point being is the fact that as a community, we already have the knowledge, we have the understanding. We just need to start doing a better job of walking a certain way with each other. You know what I'm saying? Holding and that goes into holding each other accountable. You know what I'm saying? That goes back into the culture thing. That one goes into the code concepts. There are certain things that we're going to accept, things that we're not going to accept. Things we're expecting out of each other.
Yeah.
And we are not walking in that expectation. We correct each other.
That's it.
And we're able to do that because we're brothers and sisters, and I'm doing it out of love. I'm not doing it out of spite. I'm not doing it as out of like I'm trying to throw shade on you or nothing like that. But again, that also means that we got to talk to each other like we talk to our employer.
That's it. Goes back to what you said.
You know what I'm saying? Go back to that soft tone with each other. So in which then maybe our brothers and sisters start listening, actually taking those words.
Yep.
These are the little steps. I mean, these are just little gems I'm just throwing out on how we can start correcting our path a little bit. Because again, I'm gonna point out, it's not the fact that we don't know how.
Yep.
It's a choice thing.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
Active choice.
I just want to hit that little point real fast.
No, I appreciate you going there because I think that's a hot topic right now, especially seeing that, what took place with that whole incident and how it played out in the end. You know what I mean? And so I think that's a real hot topic because exactly to your point, right? The argument, there's been an argument in our community that we don't protect each other. And if you analyze some of the situations that get, hyper publicized and get portrayed in the media, then you're absolutely going to see some examples of that. And that's something that we've got to work on. We've got to start the process, like you said, step by step, right? So how we recognize one another, how we see each other when we see one of our brothers on the streets, right? How do we see them? How do we then approach them? How do we then, speak to them in a manner that conveys the love that we should have one for another? You know what I mean? So I think you got a great point there. So speaking of that, so this incident happened to have a firearm involved, right? For this particular situation. So talk to me about your view and your standpoint on firearms, Brother Jeff.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, being a firearms instructor, I'm a Second Amendment supporter. Now, all about the right to bear arms and majorly about self-protection by any means necessary.
For sure.
We have the constitutional right to protect ourselves by any means necessary, even if that means I have to take your life. The whole key point is to stop the threat. Once the threat has ceased, we are supposed to cease.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about a situation like that, that's kind of a hard one. And people might not like what I'm about to say. I ain't gonna lie. So as you know what I'm saying, a 2A supporter, I sit there and say everything that played out, I don't see nothing wrong with it. The brother got what he should have got because of the fact he first and foremost shouldn't have put himself in that position.
Cause harm or injury to somebody else.
Exactly. You attacking this woman, and I mean, like, bro, a little bit I seen that, like, bro, he wasn't holding back.
Right.
Like, he was giving it to him. So I'm like, yo, do you understand what type of brain injuries or, you know what I'm saying, like you could fracture a face. There's so many levels to what could have happened because of him attacking her like that. So when her son came in and had to fire off some shots, which took him out, when he took the first initial shots, this is where I'm actually have to piece it out though. The first initial shots, when he got off his mom and he ran off, fire should have stopped. No, you do not go chase the assailant. You do not go chase down and finish off the job. No. You know what I'm saying? How his mom wanted to come at the girl who was sitting there talking mess, I guess, during the situation. No, that is not cool. That is not how you operate. I'm completely against that. I just want to make that understood first and foremost. But yes, him stopping the initial threat. Oh, yes, everything happened. And if he loses his life in that sense, it happens. So that's kind of where I kind of stand on that. You know what I'm saying? Again, that's coming from a Second Amendment supporter. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with anybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's my own personal opinion.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing that because you bring up a valid point, right? Almost all of if you look at what's on the law books, right, for those ability to carry, right? There's a certain point when that threat ceased. That's the key, right? And I get that people get scared and things happen, but like you mentioned, when that threat ceased, that's the moment when you pull back. You're not an animal.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't go into that rage mode. But that's a key piece to it. Is that once that threat ceased, And
all honesty, I guess statistically, it's something where and all most like gunfights or gun situations of that. Most people really is usually no more than 2 or 3 shots at most. Take, you know what I'm saying? Taking to stop a threat.
Yeah.
So when we talk about letting go an entire magazine,
come on.
No, that's overkill, and I'm sorry, you catch any charge, you catch.
Yep. And we've seen that.
That's one of the things I'm a true believer in. Like, if being a responsible gun owner, being a responsible individual with this type of tool, this is a powerful tool.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is a tool. You know what I'm saying? It's no more dangerous than a drill or a baseball bat or a hammer or anything else. It's all about how you handle it. And as long as you are trained and you know what you're doing with it, it can be a safe tool. So if you're going to be take on that responsibility of maintaining and actually owning one of these, yes, you are responsible for anything that you shoot off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Understand everybody who actually went through proper training will have an understanding of knowing that every time you squeeze off, you're responsible for every round that comes out.
Every single round. That's right.
And whatever that round hits, that's on you.
Yep.
So there's levels to this. There's an understanding of this. That's what made me become a firearms instructor. Because yes, I'm a true big believer in the fact that our people should be armed. You know what I'm saying? We are in a situation where we kind of need that. You know, because obviously, again, if you watch the news, you know what it is. So I truly believe that if we're going to do that, I at least want to know that if I'm going to promote this, I'm also going to promote that I'm able to show people who wants to learn the safe and correct way of operation, handling the laws and everything else in between when it comes to being a safe, competent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Gun owner.
Accountability. That's what you know, when you said that, that's what came to mind for me was accountability, right? You're accountable, like you said, accountable for every round. That's as a rightful and responsible firearm owner, you're accountable for every single round, like you mentioned, whether that be people that are in the way of your fire or potentially in the way of your fire. You're responsible for every single thing that takes place. So man, this is a perfect segue into something that we've had a little bit of conversation. I know you and I have had some dialogue about this, but share with us your views on policing our communities.
What do you mean? Are you asking me about the police in the community or
both?
Us
so there you go. All right,
communities?
The door is open. So I want to touch on all of that. I want to be able to touch on all of that.
Okay, so that's actually, again, that's one of the fundamental things about the Ministry of Defense and why we're taking our time, making sure that we come correct with all the training.
That's it. I love that,
because that's one of our biggest things. We want to be able to go into the communities and properly help police our communities.
Absolutely.
Because when it comes to the police, and I'm sorry, but the fire and ambulance service and things, they're not first responders. They're second responders.
Come on, man.
The first responder is the people who are there. They're the first responders. So with us being in the community, we would like to, again, welcome community, get trained with us. But while we're out, we know that we are properly trained to help make sure we can assist in these emergency situations. So in which once the second responders do get on scene, we have a better outcome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These things are again, fundamental with us. So again, when we're talking about policing the community, that's how we need to start operating in that sense, making sure we're coming properly trained.
Yeah.
So then that way, when we're out, we have a fundamental understanding of the law and how we can actually apply it ourselves as citizens, because we have policing rights as citizens. You know what I'm saying? Not police officers. We're not peace officers.
Right.
But we do have some rights to how we address certain situations.
Well, and I think it goes back to something that you mentioned earlier. You mentioned the fact that, you know, this is one of the reasons why we're getting to know the community, is why we're so involved and active in the community, because who better to be able to, and I don't even like to use the term policing, right? but I would say protecting the community than our own people.
That's
You know
a
what I
better.
mean?
That is a better. I like that.
So who better to protect our people that know our people than us, who would actually care about our people than us? And so,
What's the one thing that most officers don't do? They don't interact with the very people that they supposed to be policing. You know their names by harassing them, slamming them up against the wall, running IDs. Yeah, that's why you know everybody's name.
exactly.
But do you know the people? If you knew that person, you wouldn't treat a person like that. That's
Come on,
my
man.
biggest belief of like treat people the way that you want to be treated. I don't care
Come
who
on.
they are,
Come
what
on.
they doing, or how they're living.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I
but
work
it goes back to
security, right?
this.
In fact, that's one of the things in which I can literally brag within all the years that I've actually been doing this, off and on for years, but really been going hard the last few years, is the fact that I've never had a situation where I technically had to go hard on an individual.
Yeah. That makes
Anytime I
sense
need
though.
to do something or anytime I've interacted with them, I've always come with a demeanor of peace. In fact, I
That's it.
like in the name of peace. Peace, how you doing?
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And that demeanor alone, people don't even get
It
upset. They don't
de-escalates.
get riled. It's an automatic de-escalation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm able to get everything I need you to do. I get it done, and I didn't have to. Nobody blood pressure up enough. They just like,
Come
oh,
on,
you know what? I understand. I appreciate it. Yo, I'm out of here. Or no problem. You know what I'm saying? That's how we need to address situations when we're supposed to, you know what I'm saying, patrolling the streets. We come from a place of peace and love towards the people. One, it builds trust. Two, it builds respect. Three, it builds honor to where in which now, hey, if they have a situation, they want to run to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? That's what the police departments are failing on when it comes to our communities. Hell, when it comes to any community.
Yeah.
Which except apparently maybe except for theirs. I don't know.
Well,
all I
here's
know
the
is
thing.
they are failing completely.
Well, think about this too. If I don't live in a community, but I'm told to come into that community and to do a certain thing, I don't necessarily care so much about that community because at the end of my shift, guess what? I get to bounce out. I get to leave. So now I can go to my sanctuary that's way across town, but now I got to go back to these people on a day-to-day basis. So now I see them more as, just someone I'm overseeing, as opposed to somebody I actually care for, if that makes sense.
That's kind of a natural instinct. Now that's exactly what happens. You become an overseer. I don't care about these kids because I don't look at them every day. And that's why it's also encouraged. We encourage the police departments to hire from inside the neighborhoods
that they're gonna be in. Exactly.
The ones that actually live there. Encourage them people to come apply. Tell them that they will be policing their neighborhood. A lot of these incidents will probably cease instantly because again, community interaction. That's I don't know. That's my biggest belief. As long as we actually are become part of the area that we're trying to so-called police. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of the incidents that's been taking place over the last, and I mean literally the last few years, like last decade. Wow, like this messed it out of hand, and we really gotta keep acting like it's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the major factors is the fact that we're not involving people who live amongst the people to come and police them people.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that is one of the challenges that we face when we just analyze what has really taken place. That's one of the biggest downfalls right there is that you take people, put them in a community, working in a community that they have no ties to. If you don't have any ties to that community or to the people that are in that community, it's going to be very hard for you to really just show that you care and that you really are trying to, as you said, create peace, make peace in the land. That's what we're supposed to be under. We're supposed to be under a law of peace. That's what we're guaranteed, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of wealth.
They're not even police officers. They're peace officers.
Come on.
but they don't like. That's what their certification says: certified peace officer.
Yep.
Where's the peace at?
That's because they don't operate in that realm. They've been given instruction on how things are supposed to go, and they accept that as opposed to really accepting what the real title and responsibility that comes along with it happens to be.
No, in fact, let me just throw this out here too. Like, again, another part of the defense that you just made me think of real fast. That's also why I encourage my brother and sister, learn your constitutional rights.
Come on.
Learn how to interact with police officers. Because, again, getting riled up, getting loud, angry, and everything, that's not solving nothing.
Not at all.
Know your fundamental rights and enforce those, enact those, and stand on them. That's all you need to do. Everything else gets handled in the courtroom. But this, again, another part of the defense. This is a part in which our people need to learn how to protect themselves.
Totally agree.
You know what I'm saying? Since we're talking about policing, you know what I'm saying, we should touch on the concept of police interaction. You know, our people have been literally going through a struggle with these cats for ages.
Yep.
You know, so considering the fact our ancestors have fought this hard for us to get the so-called fundamental rights of this land, and that they're supposed to be protected, we're protected at least that much.
Come on, man.
We need to start enacting those, start using those, get a fundamental understanding. So in which when we walk around, we know what it is and what it is.
Right.
You know, like one of my biggest ones, I always tell people, nothing else, just remember the fifth.
Come on, man. The
My
fifth.
goodness.
Come on.
Just
Legal
hush.
search and seizure.
It's the easy one.
Right to remain silent.
Right to remain
Come on,
silent.
man.
Hush. Be quiet.
Come on.
You know you ain't got to say nothing to them at all, right? You just
Come
give
on.
them a stupid face. Look at him. Just look at him.
Yep.
You don't have to say nothing.
You sure don't.
They can't do nothing.
And guess what? I ain't seen. Who was it? It was a famous quote that said, "I haven't ever seen a man, a quiet man, get convicted of his own crime."
Come on, man.
So
Come on.
that's fundamental. That's basics. But here's the thing. You know, our ancestors, they fought and they died for the ability to read and write. They put these things in writing. But how many of us really like you know, you mentioned the book, right? The brother wrote a book. He said, man, here I am. I'm part of a bookstore, but I haven't even published my book yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, people keep asking me when. But
Right.
we don't even, we our ancestors fought for this right. But how many of us really look at what is the laws? What are the statutes, the regulations, the things that they're trying to you know, have you operate under in these days?
So that's the thing which I actually find funny though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I almost feel like I'm in the twilight zone on this subject here. Am I the only one that took civics and remember taking that class?
Come on, man.
We literally had to take an entire constitution test.
That's it.
In order to graduate.
They no longer do that
That's
these
a requirement
days.
nationwide. So how is it the fact that everybody takes a class in which you're supposed to learn about the Constitution, but
Come on, man.
nobody know their rights?
You don't even know about the agreement
across
that
the
your
board.
quote-unquote government
talking about
has
just
with you.
with our people. That's across.
Come on.
I'm just saying. Facts, bro. I don't understand it personally. You know, like, that's one of my biggest things. I used to walk around with a pocket constitution, you know what I'm saying, in my backpack all the time from the time I was young, always, like, most of my 20s, hell, even into my 30s. The thing I had, it done fell apart, so it done finally fell apart, so I just haven't went and got another one yet. But the reason being is because of the fact I want it to be understood that I know this Constitution. I read it often because, again, our ancestors fought for this. So use it, man. It's, again, another tool for us. It's another tool in the box.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? But we overlook it every single day. Yep. Why? Because we will not get up and do one thing.
Come on.
Crack a book.
Come on.
Crack that seal.
It's right out there for you to read.
Crack that binder a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's right. Yeah. In fact, you don't even have to read it. They even got it on audio. Audio.
Right.
You ain't even got to read. In fact, I'll even go a step further. There is so many videos about the concept of your rights and what to do from actual lawyers teaching you this stuff. So I'm like, yo, why are we playing this game? Why are we not doing the best that we can in the fundamental concept of learning our rights and then standing on them? We all love to say, I got the right. I can say what I want to. I got the
Well,
freedom
you don't
of
even know what
speech.
amendment that's in. You don't even know what amendment that is.
Do you even know what they was talking about when they were sitting there talking about freedom of speech?
Come on.
Why did they have to put it in there? In fact,
Come
I
on.
said there's a reason why freedom of speech is the first one, and the right to bear arms is number 2. Are you willing to go down that route?
Come on. Come on.
Because that was the real, like, well, to me, that was the real reason. If you're gonna sit there and say the outlandish things, you gonna say something and stand on that,
Yep.
you got to be ready to die for that too.
Your word is your bond.
Word is your bond.
Come on.
But now we just feel like, especially in this day and age,
Cap.
we feel like we can say whatever we want to.
Yep. That's
and
it.
ain't nothing supposed to happen.
That's it.
And in fact, this is the thing that annoys me the most, my brother. We are so concerned about everyone's feelings. I feel this. I feel that.
Yep.
Forget what the facts are.
Right.
This is how I feel about
Yep.
it.
So I'm gonna react based on how I feel, not what the facts are, like you said, not what the facts are, but how I feel.
Yeah, these are things that this is a form of madness as far as I'm concerned. You know, we are definitely in an age where we can't keep allowing ourselves to literally act in a buffoonish way and not have some type of repercussion.
Right.
Have you not noticed? Like, look at this man. Ever since Donald Trump, I'm either way with the dude. I don't care about him that much. You know what I'm saying? But I can say he apparently has the power that no other president has technically ever had. Look at what these people are, how they're acting and what they just did. Bro, they just ran up on the entire Congress.
Right.
Over this dude. And the one thing that already blew me, the fact that nothing happened. Like, wow. Like, so we have no National Guard, no police, just nothing. Apparently everybody was off duty that day. But past that, you know what I'm saying? He has a base where he's been able to do these things. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you.
Okay, no, you just popped on screen. Make sure we didn't lose contact or connection.
Yeah, we're here.
Oh, but you know what I'm saying? He has a base that was so strong and so adamant about this, man, that they tell you with pride that they ready to go to war.
Come on.
And we're taking this as a joke. We acting like this ain't serious. Bro, if they willing to run up on the Capitol, what you think they willing to do to you? And we talking about that, and that's not even everybody, because not everybody could have made it to the Capitol that day. There's a whole lot more people that's out here.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that
that's when I'm sitting there saying we have a fundamental, we have an enemy that's in our midst right now who's literally telling us who he is. And we're taking it as a joke.
Yeah.
We're not properly preparing ourselves for the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're so worried about what we look like and what we got on and how much clout we can get and how we can be, how many likes we get on social media and all this. That the fact that your enemy is literally on the same social media, getting his army together, telling them the real facts, putting them up on game, preparing them. And what are you doing? Getting BBLs. You know what I'm saying? Getting Lamborghinis. Worrying about the bag. Ooh, I got a stack of money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going across seas. Like, bro, unless you're going across seas to find, like, establish something, who cares? Because personally, if I'm getting across seas, I'm moving.
Yeah.
Like, yo, it is real out here.
Making stuff happen. Right.
You know, so my point being overall is just with the community overall. Like we need to really get down and dirty with each other and get nitty gritty with this work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is not an impossible task. This isn't something that's gonna happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? Each and every day, we gotta make it a point to focus on how we gonna do better as a community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All I ask out of us is to make that effort. Who's willing to stand up? Who's willing to put in that work? Who's willing to? And then there's another next subject. Who's willing to take the little brothers and sisters who might not have, as men, who don't have a father, and just put them up on game. Watch over them. When we out in the block and everything, make sure he's not doing nothing wrong. Steer him the right way. He think he gonna go over here. No, take your little self over here. That ain't for you. Go over that way. Keep them out of the trouble. Quit walking them into. This is what I ask of the brothers of my community. You know what I'm saying? We show somehow not to convince, or not convince, but we show now how to teach each other to do the wrong things. When again, we innately know how to do the right thing. We have it in us. Again, we show it every single day. Like I say, when it comes to them employers or when the blueberries and cherries show up, we show how to get peaceful when we need to. We show how to get some act right when we need to. Do that all the time. Teach little brothers and sisters how to walk so in which they don't have to even go down that road, so in which they don't even have to have those experiences.
And you know, so that's the reason why we did the mentoring program that we've got. Again, it's called Join the Race. We are just entering into our second week of this. We call it a workshop, man, because really that's what we're doing.
We can kill this. We can stop the next generation having to do this.
That's it. And so that's.
I'm sorry, you cut up there for a second.
Oh, did I? It may have been me. No, so I was talking about. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. No, I was talking about that's why mentoring is so important, right? So that's why, you know, it's important that when you, like you mentioned, seeing the young men in the community, putting them up on game, right? And that's why we came up with, you know, this what we call it a workshop. It's called Join the Race. Race means refinement, awareness, community, empowerment. So that's what we're doing with these young men is we're helping them to you know, putting them up on game, helping them to understand that what you talked about, conflict resolution. That was one of the first sessions and first lessons that we talked about was conflict resolution, because we know that's a staple, right? Communication, just how we communicate one with another. That right there is a huge part of being able to solve the challenges of the conflict that's in the community. Financial literacy. In order for us to, you know, to be able to get ourselves to a place where we can really just stand on our own too, we've got to understand how they're operating when they're operating in that financial arena. Most of us don't. We were never taught these things. Like you mentioned, understanding your rights. What are your God-given rights? What are the rights that were given to you by your Creator? What are the rights in which you get to operate under? Like, understanding those are some of the basic things that you're talking about that we're doing in the community right now. What are you doing about it? These are the things that the brother Jeff has just talked about that he's doing. As the Minister of Defense, he gave us a good summary of the training and things that they're working and learning and how to and teaching the community as well, and making sure that we got certain things in state and in place before we go out there and we make the moves that we need to make that are necessary for our community to continue to go through the things that we're going through and come out the end come out the other side of it on a better end. Like these are all the things that the brothers just explained and laid out to us in this session, man. Brother Jeff, here's what I feel like, man. I feel like we've got to do a part 2 to this because man, look, we got
an hour already.
Yeah, man. Look, we're at an hour and 10 minutes almost. We're at an hour and 10 minutes almost. We just touched the surface.
I was just getting started.
We just touched the surface. So we have to schedule. We have to get this again, man. We've got to do this again because there's a lot more. I think we've got some great points out there right now, but we've got to do this again because we've got to continue to lay out that work. As we talked about, this is part 1. This is just part 1. We'll continue forward. But Brother Jeff, I want to make sure to turn it over to you for final words. I'm going to put the scrolling ticker to show where you can be found at as well. But what final words do you have, man, around this topic of the community?
Again, on the last point of it, you know what? It's a simple word. We as a people come from great history. We are a great and mighty, powerful people. The sooner that we start to get reconnected with ourselves, get reconnected with this earth the way it's supposed to be, the sooner we'll rediscover our true power. There's a reason why they keep trying to hold us back. There's a reason why they keep trying to put their foot on our necks, because they know something that we don't know. But as you also see,
about ourselves,
the awakening is happening. They can't keep the lie going for too long. We're too connected now. You know what I'm saying? They messed up when they let us all get connected. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody got a piece of the puzzle, and we all putting pieces down on that big old board, and we starting to see the bigger picture, and they ain't liking it. So let's keep up the work in that sense. But my next biggest thing, all my brothers and sisters who are actually seeking and learning about their true self, you know what I'm saying, seeking that higher knowledge, part of that higher knowledge also means that we have to put in work. Even the word says work without, or faith without works is dead. So, you know what I'm saying? All these people who all say they faith bound, that they're spiritual and all this, we got to start putting in that work. Let's see how much faith you truly have, because the work is what's going to get us out of the situation that we're in. We don't have to depend on no one else. We can truly depend on ourselves. If I'm correct, I believe they sit there and say enough money flows within us, and which we're with the ninth largest
we can
nation.
sustain ourselves. Yeah.
So we're not hurt. We're not broke, because despite what they keep trying to make it sound like. So let's start focusing them finances, focusing that energy, become more financial literate, become more civil literate. You know what I'm saying? All these things that to help protect yourself, you and your family. As far as I'm concerned, become more two-way literate. Learn about your Second Amendment rights, you know what I'm saying, how it works, and get the proper training. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm truly terrible with social media, but you can email me though at my business. At my business email.
What's your email, brother?
Is JNED, JNED LLC 2022 at gmail.com. If you're ever interested in any type of firearm training and things like that, definitely reach out to me that way. Or even through the LOC, definitely be able to get a hold of me through the LOC anytime. But my biggest thing, it's time to put in this work, my people. It's time to put in this work. There's no time for excuses. Everybody, we all feel the power shift. We feel that there's a difference in happens.
Yeah.
We know what time it is. So it's time to start doing what we need to. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So let's get it done.
Yeah. Preparation is now. The time is now. And like the brother mentioned, man, we know what's going on. We see what's happening. Now is the time for us to start putting in the work. The work, as he mentioned, faith without works is dead. That's James 1:28, I believe it is. Or maybe it's 22, one of the two. But faith without works is dead.
Hey, you better at me than that. At least you knew that much.
But it's true, man. It's true. We're really called to do a greater work than what we've been doing. We've had our fun. We've had those years where we've participated in all these things that they wanted us to participate in, man. But look, now it's time to come out, man. It's time. If you got a platform, use it to uplift our people.
I'm sorry about that.
No, go ahead, brother.
You know what I'm saying? But you see where all this has led us and where we're at now. What's the outcome? Are we really trying to let the next generation roll down that same path? Are we really trying to have part two of this? Are we trying to keep the ball rolling? I promise you, we keep going. It's a done deal. There's nothing great at the end of this.
Yeah.
We need to get back to being a unified family force, a man and woman together, raising their children up, guiding their community, men standing up as men and leading the community.
That's it. Having each other's back, man, like we used to. Like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, man, what true community was for me, man. For me, community was everybody being together as one. If something happened on one end of the community and somebody needed some help on the other end, guess what? This was before the cell phone era. The word had already reached, and guess what? People were there to help. So we helped one another. We provided for the needs of the community, man. That's where we're headed.
Yes, sir. Yes,
we are headed there.
So
I feel firm.
We did it once before. We can do it again.
Exactly. Well, man, look, this has been great, brother. We are going to do it again, man. Inshallah, we're going to definitely do this again, man, because there's a lot more that we've got to do on this topic, man, of what we're doing with the community, man. So this has been great conversation. Again, you can reach the brother. We've got the email address scrolling across the bottom there. You can reach the brother there. You can also reach him at the Phoenix LOC, so also posted that there as well. This is the brother Jeff Johnson, man. Again, Ministry of Defense for the Phoenix LOC. Thank you again, brother, for blessing us with your presence. And again, we look forward to doing it again because we are building what
we're going to do it again soon.
For sure, brother. For sure. Peace and blessings, brother.
Peace,
Peace. Much love, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to this episode. This has been, again, another great episode. I brought my brother in, man, and the brother, he just talked about what it means. What are the steps, man? People who want a framework, the brother has a framework. He knows exactly what he's doing with this. So, again, man, greatly appreciate you for listening, for tuning in. And come back for part 2. We are going to schedule part 2. Part 2 will be coming up soon. So, again, as always, man, thank you for your support. Thank you for your listening to this. Please share, like, subscribe. And we look forward to doing it more often. Peace and blessings, family.